A couple other things that are some fan favorites of our digital whiteboard, because teachers end up spending a lot of time in EZWrite, is also our toolbox. So in our toolbox, we have lots of resources. So I don't know if we have any math teachers in the room. Do we have any math teachers in the room? No? No? Math? Okay. I'm not a math person, but there is a ruler and all of its friends. But we do also have our Easy Math tool, which allows you to draw, you can toggle between shapes and equations. So I can actually draw a shape and it's going to kind of populate that shape for me. So if I wanted to put in a table, or maybe I wanted to draw like not a regular triangle, I can then import that here, and now I can lock it to the screen. I can change the size. It just kind of takes that shape, perfects it, and then puts it in there. And then I can also switch and do equations. And I'm gonna have Sheldon come and write an example because he loves easy math. I think I used to know like a hard one. Isn't this the, isn't that? Oh yeah. And so you can even do all kinds of things when you combine numbers and letters. It's not my jam, but it'll recognize kind of all of those higher level things. So the board itself, I mean, when I'm writing things like text, so when I want to write, let me switch back. So if I write a sentence, I can select all of this. I can switch it to text. It'll recognize numbers and stuff as well, but that's where the easy math is really helpful, because you can do all of the things that are additional to this that are a lot harder for it to figure out. And then we have some student engagement tools, because like I said, we want our students getting involved in the learning as well. So we have some simple things like a spinner. I can come in here, spin. When I make it a floating tool, it'll stay there. So even if I leave EZWrite, I can still access my spinner, and I can still change that. I can open it from here. You can also create a list, and every time you create a list, it will save to your board. So you can upload lists as well. So like this Christmas one that I have here, this was just a CSV in my Google Drive, and I can upload that, and then it's gonna stay. When I spin, it'll pop up over there. And then we also have our team post is one of our students and teachers' favorite ones. This one is actually going to require some in-person volunteering. So I need 3 people to come up to the board. You can do it, I promise. 1, thank you. We've got 2, thank you. And we have 3, yay. I'm gonna have y'all come up to this board right here and just use your finger, pick a color at the bottom, and I just want you to write your name. So notice all students can come up to the board, they can write at the same time. April, can you erase yours with your palm? Just take your palm and erase everything on the board. Yeah. It's grabbing your sweater there, but yeah. And then I'm gonna have you step aside for just a second, but you're not done yet. You're not quite off the hook. I have a really hard question for you. Okay, now I would like for you to answer the question. I mean, I know we may have to do a whole nother lesson on this, but there we go. Okay, beautiful, well done. Thank you so much. Y'all can have a seat. Our teachers love this one. They can quickly throw up some questions. I've seen them put a vocabulary word on the first, and then it goes across to all 3, and they have to describe, different ways of describing the word and things like that. The nice thing about this too is when students are writing here, they can't like go into their other person's workspace. Now as a teacher, when I taught 3rd grade math, my students were not allowed to turn in any of their work until they showed their work on all of their problems. So in this case, the answers are right, but how do I know that this answer came from their brain and not ChatGPT? So I can have a little remodel situation. I can use my little floating tool. It's gonna take it here. I can come back into my whiteboard and I can do a little reteach. And then when I'm ready to pull that back up, I can just open it back and now I'm ready to start a new one. Or maybe these are 3 really solid examples and I want my students to reference this later. I have a couple options here. This little universal share icon. I can create a QR code, and so now my students in the room can take their Chromebook or their iPad, they can come up and scan the QR code, and now they have that work example right there on their device to reference. But I can also send it back to the whiteboard. So now it just took a picture. It's a little bit easier to see when I change the background. So now it just took a picture of that work, and now it's here in the lesson that I'm doing. So when I'm done with my lesson, you know, the big question is when, you know, the beauty of the digital whiteboard is that it's digital, right? We don't have to worry about erasing something and losing it forever. In this case, you've got a digital whiteboard that, again, I can tap here, do the universal share icon, and now I can save this as a PDF. So all those students that were absent today, I can now drop this, they've got all those notes, or the IEPs that may require students to have a copy of everything from class that day. You now have a really easy example to not only save documents and resources to your drive, but now you can save those on-the-fly lessons and student interaction as well. And then also in the toolbox is our a little bit more of our Google integration. I showed you slides earlier, but here you can actually open Google Drive. Let me close out these tools here. So when I tap on the Drive icon, it's going to open my Google Drive. If I want to go through my Google Slides, right, I can present my Google Slides. Oh wait, never mind, it's gonna go over there. I forgot. When there's a second screen, it recognizes. So just pretend that that is here, but you can manipulate your Google Slides. You can use the remote to kind of flip through your slides. So there it goes. So the teachers love to be able to kind of remotely run all of that from here. And then you also have the Chrome integration too. So I can quickly open Google Chrome. Sorry, I meant to do that before the session started, but we had to switch accounts here at the beginning. Apologies. So when you're in EZWrite and you tap and open Chrome, it'll split your screen with Chrome. And now I can come in here and maybe I'm teaching a lesson about dogs and I want to grab an image. I can come over here, I can click and drag, and now I have that content directly in my EZWrite whiteboard. In this one, it has a little AI button. So when I tap the AI, it'll open our little background remover here. And so now I can remove the background. And now I have my little dog with no background, and I can pair this with my Infinity clone, and now I have a bunch of little dogs. So if I want, you know, don't want to have to go in and prepare a lot of things ahead of time, you can always build on the fly as well. And in addition to bringing over images and resources, you can also bring over text as well. So if I wanted to bring this over, I click and drag and it drops that text right in. We do also have the translate feature. So I know a lot of teachers really like the ability to quickly grab content from there and then translate it right away. And so it does use Google Translate, so keep that in mind. It's not 100% accurate, but you do have that option as well. And then also, so that was like a little, pretty much at a glance with some details of EZWrite, which EZWrite pretty much looks the same on all of our model boards. So we try to develop our software to keep it similar no matter what kind of board you're using. So if you're using it on one and then you go to something else, it should look pretty identical, as well as when you have the online version. So if you're looking at the web browser, if you're using the software, it'll look the same as the whiteboard that you see here.